5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, boys. Podcast number 10 is about to go down. Welcome back. I got Jeff and Dave back again. We got a lot of views on that last podcast.
Yeah.
It was one of the highest ones.
Oh, this one I hope gets twice as many views. Let's put it that way.
I can't wait.
Got a lot to say today.
It was almost like Christmas for me last night. I couldn't sleep. So,
well, we should get more views. We got Eye Candy Randy with us today.
yep,
So
I'll tell you, he's looking pretty dull today. I think he's sleeping.
Nah, we should wake him up. So
You want to do this right now?
Santa Sack came
right.
today.
Live.
Santa Sack. This is like this is our Christmas version, I guess, of the podcast. But I think it's only appropriate that I love the Red Sox, but I think it's time.
Oh,
I think
look at
it's
this.
time we change up his hat.
yeah,
Ah,
Got to give him
humbug.
some new headgear.
gotta put that on him, dude. Oh,
This is gonna be.
Eye Candy Randy might fall over.
It's gonna be bad.
He looks like he smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah, he looks high as.
Oh, now he's looking good.
Yeah. Look at him go right there. Bah,
I
humbug.
like it, Jeff. Bringing the goods. Bringing the goods
you
over.
gotta come prepared. I got more prepared.
Well, Randy says thank you. I don't know if you could hear him.
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime, buddy.
Any snacks?
Well, first of all, I got some data for y'all. You're gonna love.
Look at this. He brought
I
a
came
book
prepared.
with him.
Dude, I told you I'm coming in hot today.
Is it too hot in here?
No.
Do you want me to lower the
No.
heat down? No, we're
Smells good, too. We got the sandalwood cedar burning.
Yep. So shout out to Nicole for my new candle and my new coffee cup. So she,
Nice.
she came in clutch.
I brought a spoon.
Uh-oh.
So it's funny that the way you guys ended last week was with Griff.
Yep.
What you guys were talking about
Yep.
in terms of Deanna's cooking skills.
Yeah,
Did you know it was David Verderber's birthday yesterday?
I did. No, I did not.
2 days ago.
Oh,
Was it really?
shit.
Wait,
Oh.
was it 2 days ago? What the hell's
Yeah.
today? Yeah, 2 days ago.
Did you know it was David Verderber's birthday 2 days ago?
I did not.
Yeah, obviously I didn't either. So Santa came for Dave.
Uh-oh.
Santa.
Oh, look at this.
reaching
What's
into the
this?
Santa sack, and what do we got? What do we got here? Oh my goodness. Oh my
Oh, this looks evil.
Oh, boy.
Griff,
God.
Griff is going to be very sad. He's
We're
not
getting
here for this
fatter
one.
today.
Oh, my God. Are you serious
There we
with
go.
this?
Nice. I like that.
There we go.
Look at that.
God, if
Yeah, that is peanut butter chocolate right
Take a look at that real quick.
I wasn't a diabetic, I will be after this.
There you go. All right.
Happy birthday, Dave.
I like that. I'm going to snack on this throughout the show. You guys, we should get some forks. Well, COVID, we'll eat together.
Happy birthday.
You never know when you see the Santa sack, good things happen.
And did she
I
make
like
it?
it.
Yeah, she made it. Yeah.
Ah, thanks, D.
I'll tell you what, the guy who marries her, he's going to be a diabetic in no time. And I can't wait to have her on the podcast. It's going to be pretty fun.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's on top? Is that like chocolate? I mean, peanut butter.
Yeah, some peanut butter frosting.
Now, is that your favorite peanut butter?
I like peanut butter. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's good.
What's your favorite kind of cake?
Oh, man. From a cake? Probably some kind of like chocolate lava type. I don't know. I like stuff like that.
Can't go wrong.
But this is delicious.
Yeah. I'm a Boston cream guy.
Oh, I love Boston.
Oh, man. Who doesn't like Boston
Yeah.
cream, right?
So do you remember the guy that I had on here, Tom? The guy with the beard? The majestic beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a food connoisseur, and he made donuts the other day, chocolate glazed donuts.
So he
my
makes his
favorite.
own donuts.
Yep. He makes all sorts of stuff, and he showcases it on Facebook and makes me very jealous. So
Nice. Well, I am not going to eat this with this spoon because I think I don't want to eat all this because I'll just get fat. So,
do you want me to get a spoon?
no, I think we should offer some upstairs to the ladies and stuff.
This is guys' night. We don't offer anything to the ladies. Although the wife did work hard today, making sure that the house was all set.
Does she like peanut butter, Jeff?
You know, she likes anything that's cake.
We got to give her a slice. So
Yeah, when we're done with this, we'll partake in the cake.
all right, partake in the cake. Well, thanks, Jeff.
Hey, thank Deanna. I just told her to make it. You get to eat it.
And it traveled here pretty much unscathed, which is impressive.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't do that.
The dogs, I had to keep the dogs away from it, but
I was wondering why when you first came in, the dogs were going crazy.
yeah, they were.
Peanut butter.
Yeah, because they can smell everything. And they can smell every ingredients in that. Is that Reese's Pieces on top too? God.
Oh yeah. By the way, I ate one of these, like an actual Christmas tree peanut butter cup. Pretty damn good.
Jesus. So
Delicious.
wrong. It's so wrong. I don't want to be right.
That's
So
time of
what's
year.
we got an interesting topic today, Jeff. Where are we going? Where are we going with this?
I don't know. We're gonna go with a little COVID today. Like since the last time we saw each other, we've definitely had some shit go down.
Yeah,
So,
we did. Yes, we did.
So we can go all the way. I mean, it doesn't matter to me where you want to start. It's up to you.
First of all, I just want to say Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like I said, you haven't been watching it, but the
Last
second-
couple episodes were legit.
I
They were
told you
Yeah,
good.
that.
yeah.
Man. Last couple episodes, they stepped it up. So I'm excited about it.
Levi wants a real lightsaber, a real one, not the one you could buy at Walmart.
Yeah.
He said, "Dad, Santa's got magic. He can figure it out, right?"
Well, I just gave my daughter's boyfriend my Anakin Skywalker replica. You know, so you turn it on, it's got the weight to it and stuff like that, and you move it around. It's legit. Like it's I had it for years, and he's a huge Star Wars fan, and since I think he's going to be the one that she's going to marry, I gave it to him.
Did you let him know if it doesn't work out, you want it back though?
I should have done that.
By the way, I am taking this back.
He is a good kid, man. He is a good kid. He's his parents are good people. They met on Tinder, and I wasn't really good about that, But he came over for the first time, and I got I got
People
two.
meet nowadays. You're not allowed to meet in public.
Well, me and Matt were talking about it before. Like we had to work back in the day.
Yeah.
You had to you almost had to write stuff down. Like, okay, so next time I'm gonna, and then call her on her landline, and hope she wasn't long distance from your parents' house,
Get the cordless phone, run to the bedroom.
Yeah, we had a long cord that went down the hallway. And you shut the door.
Kids
with the
have
cord
no
underneath.
idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
So, I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. I can't imagine if I was single again with all the technology. It's just too easy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So who knows what that would look like? But, so I got two rules when the boys come in. I want them to shake my hand and acknowledge me that I'm her dad, and then and you're not going in her room. And obviously they've been dating for so long now that that's not so much an issue. But and then when you leave, shake my hand again. Tell me it's been fun being here. And a lot of her boyfriends wouldn't do that, so I had to let them know pretty quick that you're not welcome
I'm
back.
so
there.
glad I didn't have girls.
Yeah, you've been fired.
Well, before we get off the subject of Star Wars or Mandalorian, if nobody's ever seen the guys on YouTube, the Hacksmith, I'm saying that right? Did you ever hear of them?
No.
Dude, check them out.
What's
you
it
want
called?
The Hacksmith.
Hacksmith.
They're out of Canada. They made a real live lightsaber.
Oh, I saw that, the plasma one.
Yeah, the
I
plasma
did see
light.
that
Okay,
one. Yeah.
so these guys are pretty cool, man. It took them a while, but it's pretty legit.
Yeah, that thing is wicked legit.
It's like they're cutting things up and whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah, he was cutting a metal plate the last time I saw it. Yeah.
So I am not gonna lie. The big kid in me wants a real life katana. Like I want to go to Japan. I want to have them make it, and I want to take it home. Maybe not. They're not gonna let me take it on the airplane somehow. Maybe.
Tori Hunzo.
Oh yeah.
You can have it shipped.
I'm not joking. I'm dead serious about this.
Can you buy one of those off Amazon?
I'm talking about a real one. I want one.
Kill Bill style.
Yeah,
We'll see Tori
yeah.
spend a month there while he's
I
making
want one
it.
of those fake. I want the real. The layers of steel, the Damascus steel. The.
Do you want one that's
VG10.
actually taken a human life?
Why do we get?
Because they have those.
yeah, I mean,
they're collectibles, but
Really?
so they notch them somehow to know that.
You have like a samurai sword that was involved in a.
in a war,
sometime back in history.
some religious.
You just
Yeah,
took it to
right?
You just took it to a different
Yeah,
level.
you did,
there,
Jeff. You're
Jeffrey.
making me nervous right now. Like,
Listen, you gotta if you're gonna go get something like that, you gotta have some character.
Jeff wants me to get bloody swords.
Let's see what this paperwork's all about right here. You know, this guy's not messing around. By the way, when he brings paperwork.
Listen, oh, dude, I am so disgusted with what I'm saying.
I think one thing that, because it's relevant for me right now, I'd like to discuss a little bit would be the mandatory flu vaccine, because according to my kid's school, I got till December 31st to show that my kids have been vaccinated.
Are you serious or what?
No, that's all of Massachusetts. We're like one of two states.
We're still doing that?
I know that there's been like some legislation brought up, but I don't think it's gone anywhere. And now so technically my kids can't go to school after the 31st if I don't get a flu vaccine, which, you know, I think I said in the last podcast, I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any means, but my kids have actually never scratched that. They have had a flu vaccine, but it's probably been 5-6 years.
Right.
And honestly, it's more or less based off of me being lazy.
Yeah.
Just haven't brought them. But at the same time, I haven't seen a reason to give it to them. They've never. I'm serious when I say I don't think my kids have ever had the flu. They don't miss school.
Yep.
My 12-year-old who's in 7th grade has probably missed a week's worth of school in his entire life. You know, so they're pretty healthy. So I'm like, well, why would I give them something that they don't need? So,
I have not had the flu since I was a kid, and I've never had a flu vaccine. And then when you really look at the flu vaccine, this is well-known knowledge that it's only 40% effective. They're actually working on a vaccine right now, because I went down this rabbit hole this week looking up information, and I found out that they're trying to work on a vaccine that covers all the different strains. And that's the problem with the flu, is that there's so many different strains, you don't know which one you're going to get on a year-to-year basis. That's why it's only 40%
strains
effective.
or strands?
Strands.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, like, I don't know, man. Like, why I'm not big into injecting myself.
Yeah, it's an interesting, because I got to make a decision, but at the same time, there's also that, there's ways around it. You get that you don't have to give it to them, but
the fact that they're already coming up with, now they're going to be forced inoculations for kids for the flu vaccine. You know what the next step is.
Yep.
And that's where this is what, for libertarians like me and people that appreciate civil liberties, and all of those people out there that are pro, whether you're pro-life or you're not pro-life, if it's my body, I should be able to make my own decisions what's going into it, especially when I'm about to show you guys what I found out today.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
I hope, and listen, I hope people out there don't say, hey, Jeff Verderber, why would I listen to anything he has to say? Well, let me tell you something. Jeff Verderber works in the wine and spirits industry. You shouldn't listen to anything I have to say.
But here's the thing with you, though.
But no, what the point is people need to start taking responsibility in looking up information that you're not getting from CNN and Fox News and all this MSNBC. Where's this article I brought, man? The first thing, before we get into the vaccine, I just want to bring something up. Let me ask you something, guys. Do you guys trust? Do you have a lot of faith in government?
No.
Politicians?
No.
Doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat.
No.
Do you have?
And I think that's pretty common. Like anybody you ask, they'll tell you that same answer. Very few people, I think, would answer that question. Yes.
Well, see, I think that's the opposite.
Oh, really? Huh.
So you know me,
Okay.
I'm pretty political, and so I have these conversations, on the streets, and it's amazing how many people think that the government has all the answers. And listen, I'm not anti-government.
No,
I'm just
it shouldn't be.
I'm cautious.
Yeah. This is interesting. I have some data for you.
Yeah.
So from the Pew Research Center. So anybody can go online and look up the Pew Research Center. It's actually 80% of America do not trust politicians.
I don't think they put. I think
I'm gonna
it's
give you
a double-edged sword, though. Like
I'll give you a quote.
Politicians, a little, yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I'll give you a quote. Just 20% of U.S. adults say they trust the government in Washington, D.C. to do the right thing. Just about always or most of the time. Nobody trusts politicians until you get onto these one-story issues. But overall, if you say, hey, do you trust politicians? Of course not. Most people know that they're bullshitting, they're lying, or they're saying half-truths at the end of the day. So I get back to, why would you listen to Jeff Verderber, a wine and spirits guy? Well, why would you listen to AOC, a bartender? You know what I'm saying? She was a bartender just 2 years ago.
Now, on your side, so let me just go back a little bit. Hold on.
I just want the point to say, the research. Go to the research. Look it up. People don't. You don't have to look this up to figure out people don't trust the government.
Yeah. So according to this, and I preach all the time, you got to do the work, right? I don't listen to half the shit I hear. I go back and I do the work, right? And then I form my own opinion. So that's how I become so educated. And people know that my hashtag is I will fact the shit out of you. I don't even like the word debating. That's why we have these conversations. But I will do the work. And you can argue with me all day about the facts, but the facts are the facts, right? And so you took a little shit. You don't know this, but I had a couple phone calls after our that thing aired, and and I said to him, I said, well, what did he say that was not true? And of course, they couldn't come up with an example of what wasn't true. But I don't want to hear that. Tell me what he said was wrong. Bring your evidence that he was wrong, and then I'm going to have you on. I'm going to have him on, but you better come prepared, because Jeff will be prepared.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So
here's the thing: I'm not right about everything, and we can have opinions on all kinds of stuff, but this is. You can have opinions on how government is run in terms of when we're talking about like the political theater of presidential elections and how a government should run is very different than, to me, this is very serious what's going on.
Right.
I'm going to tell you why, because there's two big things happening here. And I said it in the last podcast. I said it on Facebook several times that the election was not about Donald Trump. It was about communism,
right,
versus freedom. And when you start getting into forced vaccines, when you start talking about vaccination, vaccination
let me
camps,
stop you though, Jeff. But the people that will argue with you or debate you or talk to you about it will say, well, we already have vaccines, small, whatever, all sorts of stuff that you have to get vaccinated when you're a child. So what's the problem?
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. This is a warp speed vaccine that hasn't gone through all the testing. And I brought some addition. So again, it comes back to, let's start from the top. The people telling you need to get these things, and they're pushing it hard right now. I mean, everywhere you go, they're pushing this hard. The people that are telling you to do this, it's not the scientists. It's not the doctors. It's your politicians. People that you don't trust. People that you don't trust on a regular day. So you trust AOC, the bartender, to tell you whether you should get a vaccine, stick it in you or not? A vaccine that was developed with warp speed.
Bill Clinton and George W. have said that they'll take it on TV in front of us, Jeff.
I'm sure.
Sign me up.
I'm sure about that. But that's my biggest thing is everybody knows we don't trust. Most people do not trust what comes out of the mouths of any politician.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm surprised by the Jeff thinks that most people do. Because it's funny, I hear a lot, after this election, everyone's like, well, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. You can trust the voting, trust the this, trust that. But prior to the election, if you were to ask at least a lot of people I talk to, do you think our government's corrupt? Do you think that of course they are. Of course they are,
Well, I really believe it falls, so what I've seen is most of the people on the left are, so pro-government that they could tell you to jump off a bridge and you'll do it. And, so here's some crazy, so I'm on USA Today. The common commonly reported side effects with this vaccine that they know of right now are a sore arm, followed by fatigue 60% after the second shot, headache at 52% after the second shot, other muscle aches, chills, and they had to take pain medication after the first shot, and 45% of those people had to take heavy doses of pain medication after the second shot. So that goes to tell me a little bit that your body is reacting to that in a very negative way.
Yeah, you think, Jeff? You
Hold
need
on,
pain
Jeff.
medication from a vaccine?
Not only that, I read yesterday that some of these people have developed Bell's palsy,
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
and erectile dysfunction is another one in men, which is kind of ironic because Pfizer, who makes the blue pill,
There you go.
Hold on. Headline: Doctors raise alarm over COVID vaccine linked to infertility. These are doctors out of the EU, Dr. Wolfgang Wodarg and Dr. Michael Yeadon. Sorry if I can't pronounce their names properly, but
I'm horrible with that.
oh, dude. But at the end of the day, when you're seeing doctors, like this isn't Jeff Verderber, it's not even AOC. It's it's doctors with degrees that are actual scientists that are studying vaccines, and they're raising the alarm on it. They're saying, dude, these haven't been studied enough. What we're seeing in these is you're seeing it's actually affecting, it could affect women and prevent the formation of a placenta, which would result in vaccinated women essentially becoming infertile. That's a quote.
Now, what does that remind you of, though?
That's a
Eugenics, right?
yeah.
How, we always thought how they would do it. This is a perfect example. If you want to go down that rabbit hole.
Listen, and I would have to look this up, and I'm not prepared for that. But I could have swore that whole Ebola thing over in Africa. Remember that? We were younger then.
Yeah.
What was that? 20 years ago? Whatever it was.
Something like that.
I'm almost positive the vaccine they came up with that. I remember reading all sorts of stuff about whether it was in men or women, that it was causing them to lose babies or not be fertile anymore.
So
swear to God, that rings a bell to me for some reason. I don't have it in front of me, obviously, but
so again, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Anti-vaccination. I've never been part of like a group or protesting anything like that. I've never been outspoken about it. But now that I'm actually going down the rabbit hole here, like the flu vaccine, it's been studied for years, it's been tested on for years. This is the warp speed vaccine that you want to stick into your body, and you already have doctors, not me, questioning whether it's going to affect your reproductive organs. Dude, you got to be out of your mind. Hold on. You think that's crazy? Doctor on CNN people.
I love when it gets like this.
Don't be alarmed if elderly die after receiving the COVID vaccine.
Well, during the swine flu vaccine, all these people were having heart attacks.
Dude, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me see this. Let me say this again. Doctor on CNN, don't be alarmed if the elderly die after receiving the COVID vaccine. Dr. Kelly Moore. That's a direct quote. Dude, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Dude, and when you put this stuff out there like this, they're trying to normalize the fact that, hey,
it's okay.
If people get injected,
they're old, it's okay.
And they start keeling over, it's normal. It's okay. They were going to die anyway. But right now, we're all concerned about the elderly, getting COVID and dying. But if we jab them, and then they die, like, oh, that's different. That's okay, dude. This is crazy, man. Like, what the? Since they haven't studied people in those populations, we don't know how well the vaccine will work for them. But we're gonna give them to them anyway, right? They're right on, what are they, phase 1 or are they phase 2? This is a direct quote from Dr. Kelly Moore, Associate Director of Immunization Actions Coalition. She's saying, like, they have no idea how these people are going to react, but they're going to go out and give it to them anyway. And they're talking about forcing people to take this stuff.
Well, we talked about control last time, right? And how all these events have control. They're already talking about what they're going to do. Like, I was just watching one the other night where they're going to make you download some app on your phone. They say, oh, you control the information that's on there. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. And you're not going to be able to go into certain places without showing your phone that you had the COVID vaccine. And how do I know that it's not going to get to my job where my job's going to tell me I have to vaccinate?
Dude, they are.
I'm
How you
telling
going to
you,
get on
you
a
know what I
plane?
mean?
I guarantee you it's going to be, you can't get on a plane.
Yep, you're going to be trapped. And then what happens if I ever need government assistance? Am I not going to be able to get it because I'm not vaccinated? You know what I'm saying? It's just it's a wormhole, and it doesn't get any better. And I wonder, I get scared about the power grab, and we already see what they're doing now and what they're getting away with.
By the way, I think it's okay to be scared of the power grab because
Sure.
it's absolutely frightening. It really is. Like, we're starting to see it, and it's going to be, I say interesting, but I think it's more scary to see what's going to happen in the next 6 months. I really do. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, hey, guys, it's not over. It's not done. I got more for you. Because if you thought that was mind-blowing, the fact that, hey, go stick your grandma, if she dies, don't worry about it. It's normal. How about this? UK requires resuscitation facilities at corona vaccine centers after allergic reactions. Resuscitation facilities at vaccine centers.
What's the...
Dude, they're saying people are having such severe reactions that they literally have to resuscitate them back from the dead. That's what they're saying. Ooh,
Whoa.
dude,
Burning the podcast down.
like, dude, this
How did we die? Podcast.
this is getting okay. So if you can't see these headlines and these stories and look them up and find out that, hey, well, maybe I should question a little bit or look into this before I start japping my kids with this.
Well, you know what it
God,
is?
my kids are not getting this.
They instilled the fear in everybody, and that's what they've been doing the whole time. It's been fear-based the entire time. Like we said earlier, COVID is real. We get it. We're not saying COVID is not real. We're not saying this is, something fake and it's not what we're dealing with, because it is. But what we're saying is you have to look at the big picture and all the things. Like they always say, don't let a catastrophe go to waste. And
Yeah, governments. That's
Right.
their thing. They don't let a crisis go to waste.
That's
and
what crisis. Yeah.
It's being right now. That's exactly what's happening with COVID. And people that are awake and really have a good view on the world, I believe, see that, and they see that this is going to correlate into what I want to talk about next, which is actually the economy. But it's a complete power grab.
Yep.
It's basically the elimination of the middle class, and you're gonna have a two-tier system. You're gonna have the poor, you're gonna have the rich.
Yep.
By the way, getting back to Jeff Verderber, the wine and spirits guy, and AOC, the bartender, taking advice from them. Why do people take advice from Bill Gates, the laptop guy?
The first time I saw him on the news, I literally came out of my chair and I'm like, what is he doing talking about this?
He's on all of his investment the past 4 years
Have all been?
into vaccines.
Absolutely.
And I hope people look this up. This guy has been so outspoken about population control. And then when
For
you
years.
see shit like this about infertility issues with these vaccines, I'm sorry, man. That's not conspiracy. That's just 2 + 2 is 4. Come on, man.
Sick, man. It really is. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen when they say, Jeff, you have to, if you want to get on that JetBlue flight to Florida, you got to show your papers?
It's not going to be happening, man. It's not going to happen. Well, but at the end of the day, the Constitution does have protections. And here's what worries me about what's going on with the Biden, if Biden gets in there. If he packs the court, the Supreme Court, there goes your constitutional rights, because they'll just pack it with people that they want in there to interpret the Constitution the way they want to interpret, and they'll just shred it.
It's already being done now.
So we have we have civil liberties, we have things that protect us at this point in time, but they can make it very difficult for people, and you can already see them
So
setting the
these
stage
civil
for it.
liberties you're talking about, then why is it legal for the governor of Massachusetts to tell me if my kid wants to go to school after December 31st, he has to have a mandatory flu vaccine? By the way, a common flu vaccine that was never mandatory before is all of a sudden mandatory.
Well, until those things are challenged in court, he gets away with everything. I mean, you look at the AR-15 ban in the state. Still to this day, we have not had our day in court to battle this out. They know that these things will be dragged on for years, and they do those. And in the meantime,
how has that not been addressed at the court level?
It keeps getting kicked back. And
who is fighting for the Second Amendment? Who's representing the people?
So they have an attorney. I forget. I used to know his name by heart. And there's a couple of different gun shops in the state that are kind of funding this whole thing. But the thing's going to be at the end, right? Let's say it goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, you know what? It is unconstitutional to do that to them. Who gets in trouble?
No, well, nobody gets in trouble.
Nobody gets in trouble.
We
right?
have a 3-tier justice system here, so it's very obvious and it's disgusting. And I think we talked about it last time we were here. Is that's the biggest problem with this country right now? Is if you're the rich, if you're the powerful, if you're the government, you can get away with anything you want.
Yep.
Laws do not apply.
Yep. And I'm afraid, like a lot of other people, that when Biden gets in, we're going into a mandatory lockdown, and that is going to absolutely destroy this country. I mean, we're already on, I see it.
Life support.
I see it on small business now. We're all in that realm.
Over 1,000 restaurants closed in New York City. So I'm in the restaurant industry. So for me, it's real because it's, and by the way, that douchebag Como, or however you say his name, just shut down restaurants again starting, I think, tomorrow or something like that. Yeah. All indoor dining closed in New York City. It's insane. Insanity.
Yep.
I have
But go to Target before Christmas, right?
Right.
Pack the stores.
That's the whole thing.
Big corporations are protected.
Yep.
So this is what.
By the way, do you know that you can't sue Pfizer?
Yeah.
If something goes wrong.
Yeah. So I just want to finish off what I have to say about this vaccine stuff, because we can get. I want to go down that road of what's going on with the economy, because this is where that probably pisses me off more than anything else. The vaccines will be addressed at some point, but I do want to share that. Everybody out there that thinks this is such a great idea and this is safe and everybody should do it, those in the medical industry that I see on Facebook that are like, stop listening to these people. You got to be worried about the sick and you got to take care. University Medical Center won't order staff to take COVID vaccine due to general uncertainty. This is the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center that employs up to 82,000 people. If the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center has questions, everybody out there better damn well have some goddamn questions.
Not only do they have questions, they're actually telling their employees they don't want them to take it. But dude, that's insane.
What happens when they make these people, all our frontline people, our police departments, our firemen,
and phase one in
that's the phase one, right? So
let's
say these people start having adverse reactions to this. Our entire front, within reason, let's just say entire front line is now compromised. What happens then? Your nurses at the hospital can't be into. We already have a nurse and doctor shortage as it is. Let's say people start having really bad effects from this. Now they can't be in. What happens then?
Well, I'll tell you what. Bill Gates says, fantastic, more population control. They're all dead. Go jab your grandmother. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
That's what they think. I swear, listen. These people do not give a shit about you. These people do not, and this is what I hope, dude. People need to learn. They do not care about you. They don't care about the middle class. They don't care about the poor. They're all these Democrats that go out there, the bleeding heart liberals. They're liars. They're disgusting, and they do not care about you one bit. If they did, they would have passed a stimulus package to help everybody that's out of work right now. They would have.
It was the biggest money transfer ever. Was it $5 trillion they gave to everybody but us? And you should be happy that you got a $1,200 check.
Yeah, thanks.
Here's your lousy $1,200.
Yep.
And maybe
what do they think what a $1,200 is going to do?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I just had to pay for. So we all just went to the doctors to get glasses and contacts. That was $1,000 for three of us. thank God that I'm able to afford that. But I said to my buddy Ben, remember Ben? I said to him on the way home from the doctors, I said, what do people do who can't afford this? The $1,200 check, I was going crazy. And we got, so at December 31st, we have 19 million people in this country will be forced out of their homes if they don't get the help that they need. Well, if we look at what Biden did last time, him and his boy kicked out 50 million people, I believe it was, or 5 million people. I'll look it up in a second. It could have been, I think it was 50 million, but it could have been 5.
Here's a fact.
Out of their houses, and then bailed out the banks, made the banks bigger and better.
First thing Obama and Biden did when they got into office was pass like $1 trillion package, which all went to Wall Street.
Yep. Every time.
But hey, they love you guys. You really believe that, I bet. You really believe
Dude,
that.
if the next stimulus package that passes does not go like, I don't know what the 90% to small businesses only. I don't know, man. I don't even want to say it, but people need to rise up, man, because that would be crazy. Because, like, the fact that New York City right now is telling all these restaurant owners you're not allowed to open, dude, they're done. These guys are done. They can't survive. Like, you have to, like, if you're forcing them to shut down, you need to go give them money if you're going to pass stimulus money. I'm actually, like, one that's against stimulus money because I think it's just creates more problems down the road. But if you're going to do it and help people, then actually friggin' help people because it's enough's enough, man.
Hey, here's what's insane. Okay, 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck per CNBC today.
Yeah, and those people can't afford a $500 emergency if it came up.
This week's jobless claims, 853,000. Last week's jobless claims, 716,000. These are all new. We're talking close to 1 million each week.
Yep.
So you basically have about 10 million people out of work right now, and they're talking about shutting down again. You have mayors and dipshits like Governor Douchebag here that want to that they're destroying this industry.
See, Bernie Sanders was a little loopy, but at least the one thing I liked about him, at least if he was serious, and I think that's why they wouldn't let him get close to being in office, is because he always talked about going out making Wall Street pay for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he couldn't get near that presidency.
Well,
you know?
I mean, if you look at anybody that gets out of office, not only are they multimillionaires, I mean, the kickbacks they get, the money that they generate is absolutely phenomenal.
Hey, the new defense minister, the defense secretary, guess where his job was? He retired. He was a retired 4-star general.
Yep.
Fantastic. But guess what? He was at one of the biggest defense contractors in the world. So I can guarantee you we will be in a war. And
2 wars. I'm going with 2 wars the first year.
12 months. We're going to
first year.
We're going back into the Middle East. They're getting ready.
Yep.
So it's very corrupt. It's disgusting. It's about making big money. This is big boy politics that's going on, and people don't see it. They get.
It's like the Hunger Games right in front of our eyes about to happen, man.
They get mesmerized by these political speeches. They get mesmerized by their $1,200 check. They get mesmerized because they think Nancy Pelosi is going to do something hope and change. They're not doing anything for you. At some point, people need to realize they don't care about you, and they don't give a shit.
Well,
stop putting them on a pedestal.
Here's the thing. I think that I don't know what's wrong with people in New England, but I think because we live here, there's a lot of people that they trust the government, like you said. Like, I think a lot of people like that. Your numbers, Jeff, 80%. I guarantee you, the majority of those people that are in the "Hey, I trust the government" live here.
Yeah, I'd like to see the source.
No, 20% trusted.
Yeah, I know. 20%. My point is, I think
the 20% trusted. Yeah,
20%.
But the majority,
it all depends on where that.
Well,
where that
of that 20%, I bet you the majority of them live in New England. But I think there's a difference of opinion when you start heading down south, Midwest. I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, is everybody in America just going to accept shutting everything down? Are they going to accept their measly $1,200 be excited about? I don't think that's the consensus across all of the United States, you know?
So for those that say you should always listen to the scientists and listen to the government, dude, they know what they're doing. They know what's best for you. They care about your health. In the 1940s, there's video here. You can get this on the Daily Mail. Video shows how U.S. children were sprayed with dangerous pesticides as neighborhoods were gassed with a miracle cure. Miracle cure. We're going to get rid of polio and end it. Everybody should get this. Why? Because your local government says it. Guess what it was? It was DDT, and they were spraying people because they thought it would end polio. This is a fact. You can actually watch the videos. These people ended up developing tumors, all kinds of cancer. And it took 20 years for the government to ban it. So trust your government because they know it's what's best for you. So think about that. They allowed people to get sprayed with DDT. By the way, military people too as well. And they developed all kinds of cancer.
Look at how my dad died.
And guess what? No repercussions. They just said 20 years later, yeah, it's probably bad. We should probably get banned it. So let me ask you something. When you see all this stuff about, hey, the elderly are probably going to die when they get poked with it. When you see that, hey, there's infertility issues with this, you're going to go take that warp speed vaccine and not question it?
Here's what I don't get you.
You're not going to question it?
I think it was one of the Facebook news. I think it's out of Boston, Channel 5 WCVB or channel. I don't know, whatever the hell it is. I just got it on my Facebook, but it had to do with the vaccine coming up. And I think I commented. Somebody made a comment about not taking it, and I'm reading the comments about people like, I don't understand what's wrong with you people. Trust the buzzword science, right? I love the new buzzword in 2020. Trust the science. Yeah. So hold on, just let me listen. So I posted an article from the Great Barrington. You guys ever hear of them? The Great Barrington Declaration?
No.
Take a look at them. So I said, hey, just if anybody wants to educate themselves, take a look at the Great Barrington Declaration. And by the way, Great Barrington, Mass, which I found pretty weird. But anyways, all I mentioned was there's a bunch of scientists that have to disagree with everything, the shutting the economy down, how the virus spreads, blah, 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 blah. And so I had several people literally come at, well, I wonder where they got their education, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to see where their degrees come from. So then I was just like, hey, guys, 43,000 scientists. There's not a dozen of them. So we're going to 43,000 scientists talk about how we've done it all wrong.
Yeah.
We're doing more harm to our people right now by the shutdowns, by the lack of people going in to get their treatments and all sorts of different stuff. And it's interesting. So if anybody ever wants to, like, I didn't write this, 43,000 scientists wrote it and said,
have you shared that on Facebook?
I think I have, but it was on like not on my personal page, on like that WCVB site. It's a Great Barrington Declaration. Check it out. 43,000 scientists in America. Like, you don't hear about that stuff though, right? Yeah. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, that's not a small number, man.
Right.
Like 43. And they talk about the real numbers. They actually break down the deaths, and they're like, it's literally 0.002, somewhere between 0.002 to 0.005 death rate. That's it. That's what it is. And they're like, it seemed bad in the beginning because we just didn't have the data. Nobody was getting tested and blah, blah, blah. And they break it down really nice. And it's like, I don't know. Why the hell can't I go to a movie theater?
Well, we talked about it last time. How come there is no education on taking vitamin D, taking vitamin C, working out, eating better, zinc?
Yeah.
We're not having those discussions. And so I'm looking at something right now from CNBC.
The pharmaceutical companies cannot profit from you taking zinc.
Yeah, hold on, and I'm gonna let you say what you want to say. But I've had people actually laugh at me because I say, I don't know, me and my kid, I miss lots of days, but I have a big bottle of zinc. I make my kids take one every day. I'm like, hey, they're in school now. Take some zinc.
So my daily regimen is 3,000 IUs of vitamin D, my regular multivitamin. I take 2,000, whatever it is, of vitamin C. I also take mulberry syrup or whatever it's called, concentrate.
I've had that, yeah.
And I also just added... Oh God, what's it called? I can't remember what it is.
Paprika?
No, it's like garlic, but it's just oregano oil.
Oh, I've heard about it.
So you have to be careful with the oregano oil.
Dad was telling me to take oregano the other day. I'm like, what?
So I got the pills, and they say you can only take them 10 days at a time. So I've been spacing them out. But
it sounds like an Italian diet, man.
Well, you burp it up, you taste it between the garlic, and I also take garlic every day too. So
that's why Italians live like 100.
You're burning everything out of your system.
So on CNBC right here,
Burning the wife right out of the bed. Too.
right, Yelp data shows 60% of business closures due to coronavirus pandemic are now permanent.
Yeah, permanent.
60%. And this was published back in September 16th of this year.
Where are we at now?
So where are we at now?
1,000 restaurants permanently closed in New York City. 1,000.
Hey, you're going to like this. 10,000 American restaurants have permanently closed in the past just 3 months. They're expecting over 110,000 restaurants to be permanently closed.
How do we,
within months.
The thought of what's going to happen in the next 4 months.
If there's people out there.
I'm going to have to live with you, Jeff.
Yeah, we're going to have to ban it. Like, seriously, we're going to have to move in with each other.
But this is like, people don't understand. Like, I follow the markets very closely. I trade in my spare time. It's like my thing I do. I'm telling you, 50% of the American economy is based off of small business, and they're destroying it. So this is where I get pissed off at people when they start telling me that they're in the medical industry, and Jeffrey, the wine and spirits guy, doesn't care about COVID. Why do you keep telling people about the mask and like they need to go to work? Like, what, you don't care, Jeff. You don't care. Would you want people to die? I'm like, let me tell you something. Was it 200,000 people have died? 300,000 people died. 94% of them have underlying issues. I think the average age is around 80. That's horrible. It's terrible.
They were going to die anyway. I'm just going to say it.
I don't want.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be mean about it either. They were going to die anyway.
And listen, I have a question. I have a rebuttal for everybody out there that is so heartfelt about these 200,000 people. What about these millions of people? Millions now. Millions that can't put food on their table, that can't earn a living. Their government is forcing them not to earn a living. It's not their choice. They're not lazy Americans. The government's telling them, you can't go to work. You can't earn a living. It's millions. So millions more are being affected.
Not to mention, Jeff, they did everything the government told them they needed to do to open back up. They put the plexiglass up. They put the tables 6 feet apart. They did everything. They spent extra money that they didn't have.
Thousands.
To keep their business open. And now they're being told again in New York City, we don't care if you have the plexiglass up and this table spread apart. You have to close anyway. It's like, what?
And again,
these people need to rise up and be like, we're not closing.
And again, if you think this douchebag politician in New York City cares and is doing it because he cares and he's worried about the health of you.
His paycheck comes every week.
Let me tell you something.
Wherever he gets paid.
This is what this douchebag is doing next. He's closing everything down, and then what he's doing next. This is what he says. New York must raise taxes regardless of whether it receives federal relief. Governor Cuomo. So now you don't have a job. Now you don't have a business. I need to raise your taxes now as well. This is the politicians. I hope people see that these are heartless, disgusting motherfuckers that don't give a shit about you, dude. They don't care about you.
Yep.
They don't.
So I'm looking at right now, as many as 19 million people at risk as of December 31st from losing where they live, whether it be a house or an apartment where they rent.
It's crazy, man.
Now, where's all the help for those 19 million people?
Well, I tell you.
They're going to get another $1,200 check.
Yeah, and then told to shut up.
Well, they can't pass that. Dude, it's been 8 months since the last stimulus check, since the last help, the PPE loans, all that stuff. But guess what they were able to do this week? They were able to pass the NDAA.
Again.
They were able to pass that. Hey, we got to have money for war, but we can't help out small businesses.
Yep.
If people can't see through this, and I can't. This is why I'm become a political atheist. I can't. These people are. These are vicious, horrible people. These are terrible people that are.
How do you fix it, Jeff?
There's only one way to fix it. There needs to be a purge, and that's it. This is the only way you fix it.
Listen to Pelosi. That soundbite that kept playing all the time, where she talked about Trump putting his name on the check, and that with the next one, and she straight out said, I mean, you can look it up. It never going to happen. She said. I mean, that's where you draw the line. If you guys don't understand that they're not for us at all,
yeah,
she could care less.
No, They're pointing
And
the
people
finger
vote
at
for her
them.
over and
Yeah,
over
the-
and
I don't
over
get
again.
it.
So
I
you-
don't get it.
So you have the Democrats. The Democrats are pointing the finger at in the news. They'll point the finger at the Republicans. The Republicans point the finger at them. They'll point the finger at Trump. At the end of the day, Trump's like, "Give me the bill. I'll sign it.
Yeah.
A bill, whatever it is, I'll sign it." And they would, dude. There's a reason they're not signing it. There's a lot. I don't know what the exact reason is. I don't know if it's just that they're waiting for Biden to get in it and then just really ramp it up. I have a feeling listen, I follow the markets. Like I said, the dollar is getting crushed. It's losing its value. It's getting absolutely,
They're injecting money to purposely keep it afloat.
if
When they can't do that anymore.
Because they will, they're going to unleash trillions of dollars. So, and when they do, the dollar is going to go from where it is right now, which is dog shit, to even less than dog shit. So they are concerned about that. And that's why people need to get ready for inflation. And I know one way to do that. It's called precious metals. People better get some precious metals in their possession because the dollar is about to take a beating that you haven't seen in years. 70s. You're going to see 70s type inflation.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad.
Or house mortgages were like 17%.
Shit gets me pissed, man. I am getting pissed.
You should be pissed, and more people should be pissed. And if people think that Biden and Harris is the answer to what we're...
Dude, sorry, I don't want to swear.
No,
but
it's
you're
okay. You can
stupid.
swear.
People are so stupid.
If they have no idea what we're in for.
Oh, no.
And go back and look at Flint. Obama gaslighted those people. Remember that? Give me a glass of water. He drank water. Just sipped, when it touched his lips. Why people have brain damage and all sorts of abnormalities now. He gaslighted those people. Instead of giving those people Medicaid for all and saying, we're going to help you through all this, Flint is still an issue. It's going to be an issue for years.
The infrastructure in this country has been...
It's falling apart.
It's falling apart. Why? Because we spent all our money on what? Building bombs.
War.
And war.
Middle East.
That's where we spent all our money.
The hell
And
did we
bailing
get
out
at it?
Wall Street.
What the hell did we get out of it, too?
We spent all our money on bailing out Wall Street in wars.
And we continue to bail out the big businesses, Wall Street. You know, I don't know if I told Jeff this. I probably did, but I went to right before Thanksgiving and I needed a stupid pot, whatever, like a saucepan or something that I needed a certain size.
Yep.
It's like I had to go buy one. So I went to what do you call it there? Bed Bath & Beyond in Auburn, Mass.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's been to a Bed Bath & Beyond, right? It's not huge. It's like medium-sized store, I guess you'd call it. So I go to walk in, and it says maximum capacity 483 people. I just started, I'm like, you can jam 500 people in this bitch? But I can't go down the street, and the damn restaurant owner, like the freaking Charlie's Diner or something's got to, like, have plexiglass up and 50% capacity. I'm like, dude, something's fucked up, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, you can jam 500 people in this thing? Like, it's okay? Like, hey, come on.
I'll tell you what's
I'm
going
like,
on
what the
there.
hell?
I'm going to explain it to you. So Charlie's Diner is a private small business. Bed Bath & Beyond is a large corporation.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yep.
The politicians do not give a shit about your health, and they don't give it. Please get. I hope everybody understands. This is why none of it makes sense. Is because they are legitimately don't give a shit about the average man, and they don't give a shit.
And the
about
thing I
small
don't
business.
understand is it's so in your face, and then we get back to the people just like, well, yeah, you know, I see it every day.
It's so
Charlie
obvious,
Baker's doing
man.
such a great job. He's got such a hard job.
Such a hard job.
Yeah. Why is it so hard? I'll tell you what. Do what the governor of Florida's doing. We're open for business.
And by the way,
you go to Florida right now.
Yeah.
and they're not, and their COVID's not more out of control than New York's.
No.
It's fine. There's no difference. There's no bigger spikes in Florida versus same thing in Texas. They're keeping everything open. The only thing that's different, their middle class and their small businesses are thriving. They're able to stay open. They're able to put food on the table. The difference is communism. Communism is when you start to merge big corporations with the government, and you're seeing it happen right before
it's right
your
in the playbook,
eyes, dude.
It's right in the playbook. You know, I don't have a problem with the whole mask thing. I think that's a great way to keep everything open. But
Jeff, I would never fight with anybody about wearing a mask again if they said just wear your mask. We'll keep everything open.
Yeah.
Go to the movie theater.
Wear a
Go to
mask.
this
Yep.
until we can safely figure this, whatever it is. All right, cool. But the fact that you can get 483 people in the Bed Bath & Beyond at the restaurants, like that's where I'm like, I can't buy into the mask thing if you're going to do stupid shit like that,
Yeah.
you know?
So
I know restaurants that have spent thousands on ventilation systems.
Yep.
So I've talked to some of the owners, and they've been like, dude, we put in spent thousands on like HEPA filters that
with the blue lights.
and they're like, listen, we're doing everything we can. And then all of a sudden, yeah, you're going to have to go down 25% capacity.
Yeah.
And by the way, close your churches while you're at it. But hey.
Yeah, it's another thing. You can't go to church.
But
you
Costco
can
is
go-
jammed up right now.
don't forget about your Black Friday deals.
Yeah, you can't go to church, but if you need some oven mitts and a saucepan at Bed Bath & Beyond, we can get 483 people in that bitch. You know, like
I'm not Mr. Churchgoer, but what is this? It is a very obvious attack on churches and synagogues. It doesn't matter if it's your Christian,
I don't
Jewish,
get it
Muslim.
either because
it's-
one thing when
when you break people's religious
Communism, Jeff.
Yeah, when you break the religious people, you know, that's when you start to crack on other things.
when I was young, I don't know, maybe it was my dad, but I used to like one of the things I thought about. At least he used to probably, I think, teach me, and maybe it was true, is like one of the reasons why the United States is such a great country is because you could practice your religious freedom. Like you go to certain parts of the country, you're not allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got missionaries going there, like getting gunned down just to teach people what God is like. But not here. Now you're not even allowed to go to church.
I think you should take a bite of that cake with that spoon.
No, I want to share it with people. If I do that, then it's like
I think
it's
you
ruined.
should share with the world.
I even moved it aside so I'm not like
Not breathing on
covenant on it.
So I got something here. The U.S. military spending is $934 billion. It covers the period between October 1st of this year until September of next year. Military spending is the second largest item in the federal budget after Social Security, which they're going after. The figure is more than $705 billion outlined by the Department of Defense alone.
Yeah.
So, but enjoy your $1,200 check. That'll get you out of the hole and keep you afloat and not have you lose your home. And how can you? And I just love how people looked at this guy as the savior after what he did. No one looks at the 1993 or 1994 crime bill.
Oh, they do. And in fact,
Dude, the
it's
savior-
the reason why Donald Trump got more votes than any other president from the African American community. They're waking up, man.
There's
They
a few
understand.
people that will be watching this podcast and will probably X out right after I say this. The savior, I don't want to call him a savior because that's ridiculous, but the savior was in office. He made America great again. I don't give a shit if he was a Twitter whore and pissed people off. Whatever, man. We needed that. We needed an asshole in office that got shit done, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
He unleashed. There's something he always says. How what does he always say? I unleashed economic whatever in this country.
Economic freedom.
Yeah,
basically.
and he did. He did, man. People were thriving. Jobs were going bananas. I mean,
Lowest unemployment in every demographic.
in
the history of the
it's
US.
amazing how people could look at you and be like, no, he's a racist. I'm like, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go down that hole either. But you know what I mean.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's because people trust what they hear from politicians. They trust what they hear from these establishment politicians that have been there for
No
40
wars.
years.
I was
Dude,
bringing that up. No
80%.
wars.
All
No wars.
It brings me back to the study from the 80% of the people do not trust these people. But then when it comes to small, like when you have
Trump
these,
does say to trust the vaccine. Though.
dude, listen. I question everything from anybody.
I hear you.
And
I ain't
that's
taking
why
the damn
I don't-
vaccine.
Listen, I voted for Trump, but that doesn't mean I buy into every little thing
No,
that he
you
says.
can't.
And I think that's
No.
the problem with people is they worship these politicians. They put them on a pedestal. Same thing what they do with people in Hollywood. Dude, these are actors. They're actors. They act.
But they come out like they're the
Oh my
holiest of holy, and
Dude, you see-
I'll click them off in 2 seconds. I don't care a world for what they have to say.
I think he's a little crazy. That guy Shiva in Mass, like he's definitely a little crazy.
Yeah,
but
he's
he
a little
posted
tough.
a video once, and I'm like, when you talk about actors, it's exactly what they are. It was a Mass. I forget who she was. She's like the Massachusetts, whatever. She's a high up in our local government, and I think it was Healy whoever it was. But she's giving her press conference with her mask on, and there's people right about. As soon as the camera went off, she took her mask off, started talking, and he's like, "Look at people! Can't you see how fraudulent like these people are? Like, it's like they're actors. They really are."
So I was reading this article the other day that this restaurant owner in L.A. she went out and spent like $80,000 to build out her patio, get the tents, make her place safe, outdoor dining. She spent all the money on the outdoors. And then the governor comes in and goes, nope, no outdoor dining? Nope, you can't do that either. COVID spreads outdoors, indoors. But right across the street from her.
No. Actually, not even across the street. Same parking lot.
It was 50 feet away.
Same parking lot.
50 feet away or less.
Tents everywhere, tables everywhere. I'm talking like it was hundreds.
Huge.
Hundreds.
It was there to fit like 200 and something people, like staff members.
Yeah. Right. So the movies were allowed to go there, eat lunch, do whatever they want,
to film their event.
Movie. But so again, these people do not give a shit about you. They don't care about the middle class. They don't care about the poor. They use you as leverage.
Update on that. I know who knows how long it will last. The California Senate or the California Supreme Court ruled against them shutting down outdoor dining right now. They told the governor, is it Newsom? Is that what it is in California? Newsom? Is it Governor Newsom?
I think so.
Well, they told Governor Newsom he needs to provide evidence that COVID spreads in an outdoor like environment or whatever. So he hasn't been able to do that yet. So thank God that girl can open up her business again. But
so you want to
hear crazy.
So you want to understand. So here's the thing, and I have something exactly from the Supreme Court right now that covers all this. So the reason you're hearing about this packing the courts. They want to pack the Supreme Court with all these ideologues. They want to put these people in that they can control. They want to pack the court so they can eliminate past rulings within the Supreme Court, because there are rulings on this. I'll even give you an example right now. So this is a direct quote from the Supreme Court. Neither the legislature nor any executive or judicial officer may disregard the provisions of the Constitution in a case of an emergency. We have a health emergency. That doesn't suspend the Constitution.
Right.
Anyone who declares the suspension of constitutional guaranteed rights to free travel, peacefully assemble, earn a living, free worship, and or attempts to enforce such suspension within 50 independent sovereign continental United States is making war against our Constitution and therefore we the people. This is a direct quote from our Supreme Court.
So why have they not? So why is our Supreme Court not challenged everything that's going on right now?
They don't challenge anything. I mean,
it has to be brought to them.
So why isn't it?
But they also have the right to refuse. I mean, look how long we've been fighting these gun regulations, right? They've had all these opportunities to have these, and they keep pushing them down the line. They just keep kicking them down the field. At what point in time are you going to take this and settle this stuff? That's just one example of a huge issue that we're having.
Is it over? Is the republic done? I mean, is that where is this just a banana republic? I mean, I think it is. I think this is a banana republic. I mean, anybody that thinks that Joe Biden, who can't get through a sentence without drooling on himself, got 20 more million votes than Barack Obama. That's a fact.
Or even more votes than Hillary Clinton.
Do people know that? Do people know that Joe Biden, this feeble-minded idiot, got 20 more million votes than Barack Obama, who's very popular?
That's because people hated Trump so much.
Well, this guy couldn't get 30 people to show up at a rally.
Yeah, but here's the other flip side to that doesn't make any sense. So you have all these seats that the left lost to the right. So you mean to tell me people went in that voting booth, they voted for Biden, but then turned around and voted for a Republican?
No, none of the numbers make sense.
They don't make sense.
None of them.
Who does that?
Yeah, I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole, but at the end of the day, it's a banana republic. Anybody that doesn't think that there was a ridiculous amount of fraud isn't paying attention to the facts.
They're baseless, Jeff.
Is it
so let me ask you a question.
A resounding amount of evidence.
We have, and you can look at, I mean, there's a ton of videos out there of people who stand outside their businesses, and the police department is outside issuing them tickets and arresting these people. those are the people that we need to stand up and say, we're not going to do this shit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put I don't want to single these guys out, but at the same time, that's the people we need exactly to say that we're not doing this.
The who again? There was
It's the police department.
Well, we saw an example of that in California with that sheriff. I'm assuming you saw that, right?
Yeah. So, and that's, I hope that resonates. But and you always see the sheriffs come out and do these things.
I know, you're right.
You don't see the local guys, And I know here, my chief in this town, and I don't want to speak for him, but from what I understand, there's certain things that he's not willing to enforce. But I can tell you, based on these videos that we're seeing out there, that that's not the case anywhere else. And I really strongly believe that we need these guys to step up to the plate and say, we're not going to arrest somebody because they opened their business. I mean, look in Canada. They're arresting people left and right for opening their businesses. And that's a trickle-down effect. So we see those people getting away with it. It's happening here.
This is a big power grab.
It's a huge
and that's
power
what we're
grab.
talking about. This is a communist. This is a massive communist power grab.
By the way, if there's not an episode number 11, you know where we're all at.
Well, the NDAA says that they can detain us for any length of time without any charges or trial. So enjoy our last night together, boys.
If anybody can get anything out of this, just get this out of here. Doctor on CNN, don't be alarmed if elderly die after receiving COVID vaccine. If you don't get
Jeff's
anything
going to just keep saying that. It's great.
get your grandma. Yeah, get your grandma online for this. Are you kidding me? Dude, this is the most baffling thing. Like this was on CNN, and people are like, yeah, go get your vaccine. You're doing the right thing. Give me a break. After reading this, are you really going to get in line with grandma? I want to know that. Who's getting in line with their grandma after reading that?
We got a modern day Thanos in government right now.
It's bizarre. And like Jeff said before, these things are happening so out in the open, and nobody gives a shit.
They don't care.
Nobody gives a
dude,
shit.
You talk about stuff like this with a lot of people, they think you're nuts. You're like, or they're like, what are you going to do?
Well, dude,
I get it. Like, I don't know what I could do, but I don't know. You know?
What's interesting is that Hillman this morning was going off. He was not. Dave Portnoy going off.
Yeah.
There are people that are starting to spit. You had Joe Rogan literally pack up and move his shit out of California.
Oh, California's having an exodus of something they'd never seen before.
Oracle just packed up.
New York City, same way.
Oracle just packed up from California. They're moving out. Elon Musk is talking about moving all his everything.
Yeah, he's moving.
No,
he's already in
Yeah.
Texas.
He I think he put on Twitter. He's now
in Texas. He's a resident.
Now here's
of
the
Texas.
problem though. You have so many of these Californians moving into Texas. They're gonna ruin that state too.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. They always want here to look like there. It's just a matter of time.
They won't let it happen in Texas.
I can give you an example of that, but I'm not going to on this camera. But yeah, Texas is a whole nother ball game.
Don't be scared.
Yeah, I don't think they'll let it happen in Texas. I gotta tell you, like personally, I am preparing myself financially to make a move if I have to. That's Texas or Florida. I'm going somewhere that values the Constitution, because I think in the Northeast, it is pretty obvious what's happening here. And I'm getting myself prepared. I hope I don't have to leave, but if it gets bad
has
enough,
anybody ever been to Cambridge, Massachusetts?
Unfortunately, I have.
Okay, I have too. And it's like, that is the epitome of what we're talking about. Pfizer. Every major pharmaceutical company runs that place.
Yep.
Harvard, you kidding me? Dude, Harvard's part of the problem, It's an interesting place when you go there and you see what's going on.
yeah, bizarre, man.
So yeah, it's I don't know, man.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Pfizer, you brought up Pfizer. Yeah. UK says those with severe allergies should avoid Pfizer shot. Hey, don't worry, get in line for your shot.
There you go. My kid's got an allergy. There's my can I keep that?
Me and Jeff were talking about that today. You're looking at a guy who has one of the worst allergies in human history, who had surgery to get rid of his sinus.
They'll have an EpiPen ready for you while you take it.
I'm going to be one of those people.
No, they won't have an EpiPen. They have a resuscitation center.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So they'll be ready. Clear. I don't know, man. I did read something that's kind of funny because this is just relates to me, like the whole flu vaccination thing. Like I could easily give in and just be like, whatever, it's a flu vaccine. I'll get my kids a flu. It's not even about that anymore, man.
Yeah.
Because what the next step is this. The next step's this, which I'm not doing it, and I'm not giving my kids it. There's no way I'm going to allow that to happen. Is that and
especially everybody?
I've wrote my letter, and why it's for the religious exemptions, and it's funny. I read on Mass Live that religious exemptions in the state of Mass have gone up over 500%.
Yeah, I do believe at some point that they'll figure a way.
That loophole will be closed.
They already have, because it says right in the governor's orders that he has the right, because of it being a health emergency issue, that doesn't have to come into play or whatever.
This is where kids end up in private school, man. It's the only thing that could happen. Is
it's something I'm literally considering. I don't even care if it makes me poor. I mean, for the next 10 years.
But here's the thing: like, people, when they see stuff like this isn't Jeff Verderber, the wine and spirits guy, making this up. This is out. This information's on the
43,000 scientists on the Great Barrington Declaration. I just want to repeat that: 43,000.
So the problem is that they're pushing this because of people are accepting this because of the fear.
Right.
Because, I have this new thing now where I watch the nightly news every morning now on my way to my first stop. And it has been nothing but, like, if I could have a soundtrack to that, it would be like lightning and thunder, and people screaming in the background. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, yeah, I get it. But if you watch the news, you will literally go in your room, hunker down in your bed, and shiver.
Oh, dude!
How do people not see through the propaganda?
So the last last 3 to 5 days, every day the headline on like that WCVB out of Worcester or whatever is the Worcester. They made that makeshift hospital.
Yeah.
The Worcester Centrum.
I drove by.
All they talk about is, they've already exceeded how many people that they were going to have. They have like 70 people in there or something. Whatever the number is, it's just like, but you're right. Every headline's just like,
I got one for you.
It's bizarre, man.
Huge uptick in coronavirus outbreak up at UConn. 2 people. There's 10,000 students. There's 2.
By the way, does anybody actually? The NFL has proved it. I just watch sports, people, and you will know that the testing's not even like legitimate. Okay. Just the other night, Dez Bryant. Everybody knows what Dez Bryant is if you watch the NFL, even though he hasn't played in a few years. But the guy makes his comeback. He couldn't play the other night because he had an inconclusive test. Then he tested positive, and then they made him. He wasn't allowed to play. He was so pissed. He was on his Twitter today talking about it. The next day, he tested negative. Dude, the testing doesn't work. So if that's me or you, I go down to the frickin' CVS and wait in a goddamn 4-hour line like most of these retards out there. You're getting tested positive, and the reality is you're probably negative. You're probably not even positive.
So this is where like people are easily fooled, and they're like, you can't. Again, 80% of the people in this country basically do not trust the government. Yet now they're trusting them with this insanity. Okay, the smartest guy, as far as I'm concerned, on the planet is Elon Musk. This guy can send people to the moon. He's developing a chip to help go into your brain to help people that are paralyzed from the waist down. This is a guy that develops like one of the
car that drives itself.
He's insane. This guy is a genius.
He's taken over our space program.
Right.
People.
Okay, so this guy, I know that he's not the bartender that AOC is, but you probably trust AOC more than him. But this guy is a genius, and this guy is questioning the testing. He got tested 4 times in one day, and he puts it right on his Twitter. Go look it up. He's like, this whole thing's bullshit. He calls bullshit on it.
Positives
he goes, 2 negatives, 2 positives. He goes, what is going on? He goes, somebody makes sense of it. And that's why we're seeing an explosion in cases, quote unquote. But guess what? That's why 99.5%, because the number keeps going up, 99.5% of the cases, active cases, have 0 to mild symptoms. Why are we shutting everything down? Why are we putting millions of people out of work? Why are we putting millions of people on food stamps? Why are we putting millions of people in jeopardy of losing their homes, their businesses? And this is what pisses me off about this whole thing, is all these people that are like, you don't care about the health of the other person. 99.5% of the people have no issues with this. Okay, well, Jeff, what about the 0.5%? Well, what about the millions of people, the millions that are being affected financially every day?
But at least they're alive.
And then, well, maybe they won't be, because at some point they got to put food on their table and they have to eat to survive.
Mental health, yeah. You're starting to see a lot of stuff, outside of mental health, like for kids that have been out of school, like these kids, like, it seems like everyone has a mental health problem these days, but like a lot of like young kids are now dealing with stuff going on. And
this stuff is going to resonate. We think when this is done, it's going to be over with, but this is going to be a compounded issue for years after this. I've known guys that were like, they would walk into a bar and fight 5 guys like it was nothing. They're calling me up sometimes in tears because they're literally sitting in their car rocking back and forth because they can't take this anymore. And they're worried about losing their job, worried about losing their house, worried about how they're going to feed their kids. And when it starts affecting those guys, we're on that brink.
Man, hey, dude, listen, I'm in that industry where I worry, man. Luckily I got a pretty good company I work for, but when the New York City, the single largest city in the United States, just closes restaurants, I mean, that affects me. And by the way, thousands of other people.
Well, that causes a ripple effect. Yeah. So he does it. And then our knucklehead does it.
It's not
and
long.
And then, your knucklehead does it. And the next thing you know, I'm telling you right now, January 20th, people better buckle up because they think it's bad now. Just wait.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kids.
And you voted for them, so
I really do feel bad for the kids because they need interaction. They need to develop cognitive skills. They need human interaction is very important. Okay, so you stick somebody. Everybody knows this. You stick a prisoner in isolation. They lose their minds.
They go crazy.
They lose their minds. Everybody knows this. You don't need a PhD to figure this out. This is what's happening to the kids right now.
Yep.
Especially kids that don't have like a lot of kids in their neighborhood,
or parents that have bought into the fear and won't let their kids. Dude, you have no. My older son Reese. Thank God we have a neighborhood with a ton of kids, so he's good to go. But a lot of his friends that he used to actually hang out with, dude, their parents are still in the, nope, I'm not letting my kid go to other people's home. I'm just like, dude, your kid's going to be whacked. Like, he's going to be a mental case.
But you know what, though? Like, I get it, though. Like, I get people, I have a couple friends whose kids have not gone back to school, even though they're hybrid for a couple days. They won't even
let them hang out, though.
And I've had those conversations with them, and they come from just a place of like, I don't know what to do. And as a parent, we're supposed to protect our children. So I get that part of it, and I don't want to. Hey, you're gonna light that stuff up in a minute.
It's all good.
I'm just waiting for that before I stop, drop, and roll.
Listen, there's nobody should be worried about their kids with coronavirus at this point. I don't care. Like, you really shouldn't. There's no data that suggests that kids are affected.
I don't think any of this is data-driven anymore. Dude, can they prove that there is super spreading going on in restaurants? Is there a scientific proof?
They can't. That's the whole thing. And that's my whole problem with shutting these businesses down is we have, I had to go to the Holyoke Mall the other day because my iPhone, with the new update's been going crazy. I walked into the Holyoke Mall, and it was a ghost town. Yeah. Like, I was looking around like...
It's Christmas time.
Whoa. But Target... was packed. You couldn't even move in there. I had to literally ask people, excuse me, literally, to get through there. But once I got out in the regular part of the mall, it was a ghost town. And I was there a few weeks before that at like 7:30 at night, and all the doors they were already closing the mall. And I'm thinking to myself, what are these people going to do? What are these companies going to do to bounce back from this? Because the malls don't give a shit about whether you can afford it or not. They would rather get you out so they can take that as a loss and write that off than help you out,
I don't know, man.
What's the big picture here, man?
That's what I don't get. Like, I'm pretty smart about most things. I can't figure this out.
Well, so I mean, here's what I think, and this is, I don't know if this is, but I'm just using some common sense here. But communism, they want people to rely on the government. So if nobody has jobs and you can't pay your rent, you need to rely on the government to do this for you.
Right.
So, but now the government says, well, Jeffrey Plouffe, you want this, your rent paid, you want your mortgage paid? No problem.
Yep.
Get that COVID vaccine.
Yep.
And then while you're at it, do you have any guns?
Right, because those will be taken right away. First thing that goes away.
But it's a form of control.
Right.
And that's what communist countries do. They get control over you, and they get control over your finances. And you could see it happening like right before your eyes right now. Like this is just.
And they'll tell you when to eat, what you can eat, where you can live, what kind of house you have.
Exactly.
What kind of toilet paper you wipe your ass with.
I got to tell you, here's what I see happening in this country. I really see secessions happening. I see places like Texas being the real United States. I think you'll see the Deep South basically start to separate itself from the North and the West. These.
Well, I mean, look at California. They're already talking about New California and New Nevada, which that one is weird that Nevada would join that, but they're all flocking there. So I guess that makes sense.
I really see it happening, man. Like that, I think things are going to get to the point where if they do pack the court, that's your first sign there will be a secession, because it's over. The republic's over. The Constitution doesn't matter anymore. And what makes this the United States is no longer valid anymore. It's done. It's over.
Yep.
So and people probably listening and going, "That's insane, dude." It's happening right in front of your eyes, man. Like,
do you think it's weird that the military is going to be in charge of doling out the vaccine? I find that odd.
I don't know. I know that.
I think it's, well, I don't know. I guess you could look at it a couple different ways. They have a lot of people, right?
Well, it's true, but have we ever had to have them do that before? I don't know.
Do you think it would be
I'll look
strange
it up
if
right
the military, what's the word I'm looking for?
Do you think it would be strange if the military came to your town and started spraying everybody with DDT? I do. But, they did. They actually did.
We can say the things about this. I can't know if I can say it right.
The military.
The experiments.
Do you think it'd be weird if the military supervised a revote?
That's a good point.
No.
You know who brought that up, right?
No.
So Michael Flynn.
Oh, did he really?
They don't
General
by the way,
Michael
they don't talk about this a lot on the news because I think they're scared of it.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote a letter, actually a petition, and got several other high-ranking people to sign it to Trump that he should declare martial law, suspend the Constitution, and do a complete and utter presidential new election and have the military supervise it.
All paper ballots.
I would be all for that.
100% paper ballots, no mail-ins.
That would take some serious balls.
Oh yeah, it's the only. Hey, listen, I literally pray like they don't go through with what they sound like they're going to go through with, like the packing of the courts. That's my biggest concern, because when they do that,
they're going to.
The Constitution.
He didn't say no, dude. He didn't say no.
He
did not say no.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt, and that's what really worries me. So, and then it's game on, because I think you're going to see a whole lot of people in this country that are the silent majority that's been sitting back for years. You're going to see like in this part of the country, people don't know.
Is gone.
They don't know. I have friends like in the Oklahoma area, in the Texas area. Let me tell you something.
It's a whole nother ballgame.
They view this country very differently than the communists that are in.
Yep.
That are running the states, like Cuomo, and you got this douchebag in Massachusetts. These are communists. These people are communists. And if you don't think people in these other states, like Texas, Florida, they hate communists. Dude, the Cubans hate the communists. They fled the communists to come to the United States, and now they're seeing what's going on. Why do you think they voted for Trump? I really want people to understand. Ask why the Cubans support Donald Trump. It's not that they support the man Donald Trump. They support the ideas, the values, the freedoms that he's a constitutionalist, that he's not for communism. That's why they're not siding with the socialists and the Democrats. It's because these Cubans, they know what tyranny is. And people want to start to get
People
an idea
want presidential.
of,
They're about to get presidential.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're about to get it, people.
You want so again, like,
Go get your papers. Go
Yeah.
get your vaccine.
get your papers, get your vaccine.
Fucking, just like Nazi
Lose your
Germany.
religion. You can't have religion in communist China. There's over 1 million Muslims in prison today.
Yep.
Why? Because they're Muslim.
Yep.
If you're Christian, you better watch out too. It doesn't matter. Like, that communism is all about, you worship communism.
right.
You worship communism. That's it. There's only one ruler. And
A lot of the young people, you see them protesting, and they
Yeah.
love their communism.
yeah. Well, they don't know what it is.
No, that's the thing.
They're very blind and naive, and they don't understand. They
Yeah.
hear the Bernie Sanders, and they think it's all about free stuff and love and peace. And, hey, I get this for free, college for free, health insurance for free. They don't understand what it takes to get all that stuff for quote-unquote free, which it's not. It comes from your paycheck. It takes away civil liberties. It's the first thing that goes in a socialistic, in a communist society, is your
Yep.
civil liberties. God, you
Yep.
don't, they own you.
Yeah.
You want it, we'll give it to you. We own you now. And that's not what America's about. America's about doing things on your own, being, inventive. It's not about, like, making the government basically tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it.
43,000 scientists. Just going to keep repeating that. 43,000.
And again, just for everybody out there, the University Medical Center won't order the staff to take the COVID vaccine due to general uncertainty. That's 82,000 people employed by the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. So if these people, who are all doctors in a massive medical center, are questioning the vaccines, well, wine and spirits guy Jeff can do it.
Yeah. Yep. I always say some douchebag in his basement doing a podcast can figure it out. You should be able to do it too, but it doesn't take much time. That's the whole thing. Like, I can bang out a whole bunch of stuff in a couple hours and figure
People
it out.
are lazy. They
You know what I mean?
I'm actually afraid for I think a lot of people want to be just told what to do. They're just lazy. They just want to be told what to do.
Yep.
Tell me what to do.
Headline readers.
Headline readers, right?
It's only going to get worse from here. And
What are you looking up over there, dude? You watching porn or something?
no, it's a negative. It's fact checking as we're going. And I actually just uploaded the other video, so it was done. So I was putting on, but I was listening. You know, we're gonna get some hate mail for this, and I look forward to it. But if anybody wants to come on and have these conversations with us, you know my rule. Well,
But
you're free and clear.
What would you get hate mail about? Like, we're talking about.
Well, people are gonna call us anti-vaxxers, and
Well,
you know,
I didn't
We're
say don't get a vaccine. I
Got all-
said
right.
I've had anthrax shots, smallpox. I've had
Yeah,
all
you
sorts-
had
I've had
a
all
gamut
sorts of shit.
Yeah.
and again, it's not just
I
me
took
saying.
by the way,
It's 82,000 doctors saying not to.
Right.
43,000.
But people will listen to CNN and use CNN as their Bible.
That's the problem, man. That like they listen to the
Well,
politicians,
here's the problem.
and then they
Like,
listen to the media.
Honestly, guys, what news outlet can anybody trust? Because I can tell you right now, I don't trust any of them. I don't trust Breitbart. I don't trust Newsmax. I don't trust any of these guys, man, because I feel like they all got
all have
some
an
sort
angle.
of they all got
Yep.
an angle that they're just like, who's that?
Yeah, do me a favor. Take that. And,
Oh, sorry. Who's that? She's on Fox. I don't even know her name, but she's got the angle, just like you just said.
Oh, Laura.
Yeah, Laura Angle or whatever.
Angle?
Yeah.
That's the name of her, like how she starts off her show. We're gonna
Yeah.
look at our angle or whatever. Like, yeah, they do, man. So it's like I avoid the news because I don't believe any of it. Like, I literally read shit and I
Yeah.
just like I
well,
don't
I think
believe
you
it.
should watch the news, but I think you should, when something doesn't seem right and it doesn't sound right.
I don't think
That's
any
what-
of it's right. I
that's
think
when
it's
you-
all it's. It's all bullshit now. It's
I
all
think the
propaganda.
one thing you could read and you could watch is stuff like 43,000 scientists getting together. Like that's real news,
Right.
But that news doesn't make it to NBC and
Right.
CBS and
It's not
even
gonna-
Fox.
yeah.
Like people will sit there and say, "Oh, Fox is they won't air that either. They're not putting that on
Yep.
there."
I mean, I can prove to people on my phone. I look at probably 10 to 12 different news organizations from mainstream media to not mainstream media, and that's when you can, once you soak it all in, then you can make a decision.
Yeah.
But don't just take one of them, what they say for the gospel. You have to do your own
People just
work.
need to start questioning, and they can't. People in general do not trust politicians.
Well,
but
questioning now can get you in trouble.
right.
And that's the problem. Just this conversation here. Let's say, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not on a watch list by now, you got to be ashamed of yourself. But it's what can get you on one of those lists, and how do you get off one of those lists? Do you know what I'm saying? You could be talking about just this, right? We're talking medically and factually, right? You could be on a list in no time, and the next thing you know, you're
You'll
fucked.
be watching your likes. You got too many likes, you're gonna be a problem. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where does we have inalienable rights to question things, protest what we believe is not right, and those are going away slowly but surely. They are going away.
Have you guys read George Orwell's 1984?
The manual?
It
Wasn't supposed to be a manual.
I think everybody should get up to date with 1984, and once they read that, because
So scary how much
their
it's coming
mind,
to
your
fruition.
mind, after you hear all this, you might just say, "Hey, Jeff, these guys are morons, man." That's fine. Go read 1984. This book was written years ago, a couple decades ago.
Yep.
And if you see what's in it, your mind will be blown, because it's literally coming to fruition right now today in front of you. And here's the best quote from the whole thing. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. So when you hear the truth, people they don't even believe it. They don't even know what they're hearing anymore. It's you get hated on for telling the truth. They don't want to hear it.
Right.
So we're the bad guys for bringing you the truth.
Well, they call you all sorts of names like
Yeah.
conspiracy theorist, and you're this and that, and if anytime you go against the grain, you are thought of as the second coming.
I'm going to go against
Antichrist.
the grain and not let my grandmother go get vaxxed, because where is it? She could possibly die within 2 days. That's normal per CNN. That's normal, by the way. That's what they actually said. It's a normal thing that could happen.
Yeah. Well, when people start losing, and here's the thing. Some of this stuff, like you said, like look at Roundup, for instance. There was just a huge write-up about Roundup the other day where it was like $10 billion now Monsanto has to pay for how many years, how many deaths. So you can say $10 billion, but that doesn't bring anybody back, and the people who suffered from cancer from using that.
Which, by the way, it was approved by the federal government to distribute.
So is Splenda, and
Yeah.
the list can go on and on and on.
Aspartame.
Yep. And it's great for you, and it all just lines the pockets of politicians, CEOs.
Yeah.
But God forbid you make a mistake at any level, you're fucked. And we know that.
It's the world for the rich, man. It's a two-tiered system now, man, and they want to smash the middle
I
class.
think we
right
should
now.
follow this up in another month with who got the vaccine. Come on in and share.
That's a good idea. We'll put that down. Anybody who has the vaccine, I'd love to have you on here and
Hell yeah.
and hear what.
Well, you got to get it twice.
You got to get it twice.
So you got
The
to get
second one has to be like something below 0, I believe.
I don't know, but they
Like
said that
what's-
the second one's really the one with the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So come after the second one, and we want to see if you're like bleeding from your ears or.
And what's the time frame between the first and the second one? It's just a month, right?
Hey,
Or a month or
make
two?
sure you get it at a place that has the resuscitation center. Okay.
Listen, I mean, we're making jokes about this, but at the same time, it's serious. But we're telling people just to, again, do your homework. And this I've had this conversation a million times so far. Name another vaccine that came out this fast.
None. There are none. Warp speed. Don't worry. Get your grandma in line.
Yep.
If you want your kids to have kids, I wouldn't recommend this.
You know, I was reading an article the other day too about how sperm counts in men are drastically down from the 1950s. Like drastically down. How does that happen? You know, we've been being poisoned this entire time. You know,
I've seen people listen. I've seen people make arguments with these vaccines that flu vaccine
and stuff.
But even the flu vaccine, like when you're given a natural immune system, let it work.
Yeah.
Because if you start injecting yourself with these other things, it weakens your immune system. That's a fact. It does do that. But hey, you know, I don't know. It's the whole vaccine thing. Like this scares me because it's warp speed and you're already seeing all the negative stuff. So I don't know about everything else. I don't know about all the other vaccines that we get shot up with when we're babies. I don't know. I do know that cancer rates are through the roof since the 50s. I do know that what's been over the last 20 years, what's really been happening, autism.
Mm-hmm.
Autism is just
skyrocketing.
And I have friends that have very autistic kids, and they to a man are like 100%. They think it's the vaccines the kids are getting. Yeah. And people are like, well, we don't have this and that anymore, so they must work. Well, what else is in it? What else is in it that's causing these problems? So, I mean, I don't know if it is causing the problem or it's not causing the problem. I just know that this is a strange world we live in, and the pharmaceutical companies are getting rich.
Just when you think, like, you know, we just had them get in trouble for giving out narcotics in droves and the kickbacks and all that kind of stuff. So they get through that, and then this, you know, it's just never ending.
Yeah. Hey, why can't they give marijuana to people instead of pain pills, instead of opioids? You know, we got a massive opioid problem in this country. Why not give them, hey, you got pain? Take some marijuana pills. Why do you have to give them an opioid that's super addictive? Yeah. Well, the pharmaceutical companies haven't figured out a way to stick that in a pill and actually get the patent on it. That's the problem.
By the way, if that could be a whole nother session talking about the pharmaceuticals and like the addiction and whatnot. But I'll recommend it. If you haven't seen it on Netflix, we were talking about getting rid of Netflix, but before you get rid of Netflix, because they keep raising your rate, watch The Pharmacist.
Oh, that's great,
yeah,
dude.
I saw that.
You want to know how corrupt our government is? Watch The Pharmacist. It is like mind-blowing. Like and it was so good.
Again, that comes down to
one guy, by the way.
There's a merger. There's a merger between big corporations and the government, and that's why they're protected.
Government completely protected a pharmaceutical company just to make billions. Man.
Oh, by the way, it still is going on today. They're still prescribing OxyContin like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
They're creating drug addicts. This is what they're doing. They're just creating like people really dependent upon these drugs.
And they knew they were doing this when they did it. And that's the thing. Again, who goes to jail?
Hey,
nobody.
Lindsay at one point was going to have surgery, or she did have surgery, and then you told me, like, dude.
Oh, she had the tonsils.
Yeah, you told me
tonsils out, and they gave her, dude, like this, bigger than this, like a thing. I remember she was like still out of it, like whacked, and so they were explaining me for the pain meds, and I'm like, and I don't know, I'm just listening. I haven't even picked it up yet. So then I go to the pharmacy, and then I pick up her pain meds. It's not pills because she had it's a liquid Percocet. Yep. Dude, it was like a freaking small milk carton full. Dude, I'm not kidding you. And the doctor was like, or the nurse was like, she needs to take this every 2 to 4 hours. I'm like, what? So I'm looking at this bottle, like, and I'm like, how long does this last? She's like, oh, a little over 2 weeks or something. I'm like, dude, she was taking it the way they told her to, and I think after like a day and a half, she was like, I feel wicked sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Your body
dude,
reacts to it right away.
I took the shit and poured it down the drain.
Yep.
She never even needed it. She was fine the next day.
Yeah.
Like, dude, after a day, they want her to take that thing for 2 weeks, liquid Percocet. She didn't even need it after day 2.
Unbelievable, man.
Crazy, dude. I poured it down the sink.
It really is. All right, boys.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We're at an hour and 40 minutes.
Well, Merry Christmas, buddy. If we
Same
don't
here.
See you.
Definitely. We'll come back in another month.
If anybody wants some sweets, D sweets,
Oh man.
we're all gonna get fat after this when we press the stop button.
I can still smell it the whole time. It's killing me. And then, thank you for bringing Eye Candy Randy his new hat, and he'll be sporting that all the way through the Christmas season.
You should.
So,
Fat kids are about to have a party.
all right, boys. Episode 10 in the can.
So yeah.
Like, subscribe, and please share as many times as you can. That's the biggest form of flattery, is sharing this for me. All right, boys.
Peace out.
See ya.